Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Cloud Deep Dive. In today's video, we will talk about a newly launched feature by AWS DNS Firewall. We'll talk about how you can set it up in your AWS environment and how it will help you to filter out your DNS queries. Before we start, let's first understand what all services AWS provide to configure network security. Like we have security groups, we have network access control list, we have another newly launched feature, AWS network firewall. uh, Security group and NECLs, you all know, is being there from a while. Network firewalls is a launched feature again by AWS. And if you want to learn how it works and what use case it solves, you can check out my video on that, and I'll provide that link on the description, and you can find it on the top right hand corner of the screen as well. So these all services, security group, your NECL, your network firewall, they inspect and filter your network traffic, but they do not inspect your DNS queries provided by your Route 53 resolver, and which potentially allow bad factors or bad actors to exfiltrate data by using DNS. And what does that mean? That from your VPC, suppose there is a EC2 instance and it's trying to open or trying to resolve your amazon.com so that it can connect with that. So what will happen, that it will, whenever you know that a DNS query will be made to the .2 address, .2 address will try to resolve that. By that means that your Route 53 resolver .2 and Route 53 resolver are same basically. So your Route 53 resolver will try to resolve the DNS query. In this case, like we are taking example of amazon.com, it will try to resolve amazon.com and try to find out what is the IP address of that. So Route 53 resolver, what is going to do, it will first go and check the private hosted zones. So private DNS, does this website or query belongs to my private hosted zone? If not, then it will go and check Amazon domain, which is in that it will try to find out, is this particular domain belong to any of the VPC within AWS, and it will try to resolve it. But if doesn't belong to Amazon domains or private or your VPC DNS, then it will go to your public DNS, and it will try to find out what is the IP address of that. And when it goes to public DNS, it will be an iterative method, like it will go to root server, then .com, and so on. And if you learn more about how that whole process goes, guys, you can check out my video on DNS, dominance system, and where I explained in detail that how DNS resolution work. So coming back to this video or this particular topic, so Route 53 goes to public DNS and try to resolve your domain name into an IP address and give it back to the instances. But one thing to note, that whatever queries is making outside is not being filtered or being monitored by your security group or by your NECL or anything. It's just kind of connecting to the internet, trying to find out your IP address and giving back to your instances. So there is a security concern because all these DNS queries are made. Now bad actors can come and utilize this particular route to get access to your data and to get control of or get basically access to your data, and they can kind of copy all your data from your instances or from a database. Now how Route 53 DNS firewall will help you here. So any DNS queries going from your VPC to Route 53, so you can create a DNS firewall, and that DNS firewall basically inspect all the queries made from your Route 53 to the outside world or private DNS or Amazon domain, or basically any queries going from your VPC through Route 53 resolver will be inspected by this firewall. And this firewall is basically set of rules which where you can mention that, okay, I want to block these domains. If any query is going for these domains, I want to block it. I don't want Route 53 to resolve these particular domains. Or maybe you can say that, okay, I just want to allow Route 53 to resolve only queries for these 10 domains and everything else should be blocked. So you can put certain rules in there, and based on those rules, your queries will be evaluated, and it will be either allowed or blocked, or you may get set up an alert as well. So guys, that's the theory part of that. Let's go to the console and see how it works in action, how you can create those rules and rule groups, how you can associate with the VPC, and how it will work in action. Okay guys, I have logged in into my AWS console and will go to VPC. Under VPC, you will find DNS Firewall, and it has two components for rule groups and domain list. So let's first go to domain list. I have created some of the domain list. I'll go through it, but let's see first how we can create a domain list. So domain list is basically where you will define what all domain you want to allow or block, or you want to send an alert about these domains if somebody is trying to resolve a DNS query for this domain list. So suppose I want to do it for github.com, that GitHub domain, or it's not only one. Suppose I want to allow domains. Yes, this is my domain list name, and I can give here 10, 15, 20, whatever number of domains you want to give. Suppose you want to give github.com, or maybe aws.com, maybe amazon.com, or google.com, facebook.com, whatever list you want to allow or deny or block from your VPC, you can provide the whole list. If you are very big, you can also upload it to the S3 bucket, and you can do it from there as well. And then suppose I want to go with the github.com and any other domain, suppose yahoo.com, facebook.com, you can just give the list, and then you can click on create domain or add domain list. So that's how you will create a new domain list. I've created some of them. So first, like block all, you just have a star, that means wildcard. Any domain it's gonna try to resolve will take action on that, and the actions will be defined in the rule group. Here we're just adding the domain list. Similarly, I have one with the allowed domain, allowed Amazon domain. So it has amazon.com and subdomain. Similarly, I created for the Google and block all domain. Okay, there are two of the domain list which are created by Amazon and it managed by Amazon. So that has few of the non-malware domains which Amazon knows that okay, if you try to resolve a query for these domains, you may end up in a trouble. So they are blocking those one by using this managed list. So you can leverage this as well. Now let's go to the rule group. Rule group is basically a set of rules which evaluate the domain list you have created and take actions accordingly. So let's create our first rule group, and in that you will add rules. Here suppose I say block all. I want to block all the domains. And one thing is, like, you can create a new domain here as well, the same way what we discussed, or you can choose from the domains which we already created. So right now I'm choosing the one which already created, and then I can take action either allow, block, or alert. Allow means that if domains mentioned in this domain list, if it is matches, then it will allow it. Block means if the domain mentioned in this domain list matches, it will block, it won't let Route 53 to resolve those domains. Alert means it will allow it, but it will send an alert to your cloud virtual alarm. For that, just make sure that in your Route 53 resolver you enable the query logging, and once you enable that, all the alerts will be routed or will be sent to your cloud watch. So for this block all domains, will block it, and we'll select a response, what kind of response we want. Right now I'm saying that I don't want any data. I can also give a override where I can give any website address where I want to route it, or I want to give some kind of message. I can do that as well. So for this demo I just select a no data and we'll click add rule. Let's add one more rule, allow Amazon, and I have allow Amazon domain, allow add rule. Now here's the priority. So one thing keep in mind that whenever these rules are evaluated within the rule group, they are evaluated based on the priority. So lower the priority, first that will be evaluated. So if we talk about with the right this setup, first block all domains rule domain list will be evaluated. After that, allow Amazon uh, particular rule will be evaluated. But I want Amazon rule to be evaluated first, and then rest of them will be covered by my wildcard block all domain. So I'll change that priority like that. Next, next, and then we can create rule group. So my rule group is created. So Route 53 will read or will evaluate these rules mentioned in this rule group. But it's also need to know for which VPC, because that Route 53 resolver might be using multiple VPC, or might be serving requests from multiple VPC, and we don't want to block or allow domain from all the VPC. You might have a requirement where you want that, okay, certain domains should be allowed from a VPC and certain should not be from other. So for that we have to associate a VPC, and for that we'll click on associate VPC, associate, and we are using this particular VPC for this demo. And here you can attach multiple VPCs as well. It's not like you are limited to one. If you have 10 different VPC, you can attach all of them as well. So let's click on associate. It will take a little bit of time. Before that, let's go to overview tab, and one of the information you will find here, the used capacity. Used capacity is basically how many rules you have created out of 100. So with the rule group, you can add maximum of 100 rules, and the number of rules you add, it gives you that capacity here. So right now 2 rules are used, so that's why the 2 capacity is used. Rule tab will give you that what all rules you already have. If you want to add another rule, you can click on add and you can add another rule here. Similarly, if you want to change the priority of this, so you can click on edit priority, and you can move these rules up and down based on the priority you want to set up. So that's how you can create a rule group and associate the VPC, guys. It's updating. It might take a minute or so. And what I'm gonna do once is associated here, that I'll log into my EC2 machine and will try to access Amazon.com. We will be able to do that, but we'll try to access some other website. We won't be able to do that. One more thing I wanted to tell you, that there is associated priority. And what does that mean? That if this particular VPC is associated with multiple rule groups, so right now it's associated with test rule group. Suppose I create another rule group, suppose a demo rule group, and I associate this VPC with that rule group as well. So then in that case, the one VPC associated with 2 different rule groups, and within those rule groups you will have different rules. So which rule group should be evaluated first? So this priority will decide that. So first, right now is associated with this particular rule group, so it got a priority 101. If I associate this VPC with the different rule group as well along with this, so it will get the next priority. So it will evaluate this rule group first, and it will evaluate all the rules within this rule group, and then it will go to the next rule group with the next priority and evaluate all the rules under that particular rule group. So that's how it will be evaluated. Okay, I think now it's associated. Let's make sure. Yes, the association is complete. So we'll go to our Cloud9 environment and we'll do dig. Suppose I'm doing google.com, and you can see that I didn't get any IP address for that. But if I do dig amazon.com, you can see I'm getting this IP addresses. So if I go ahead and add a rule allowing, suppose let's add a rule to allow the google.com. Allow Google, will create a, yeah, I have a google.com allow rule. So we need to change the priority. So we'll move this before block all, save changes. So first Amazon, then Google, then block all. If I go and do dig on google.com, so you can see you got an IP address. So guys, that's how this DNS firewall work. It basically um, uh, filter out or inspect all the DNS queries to make sure that you are not uh, kind of accessing a domain which you don't want, or resolving a domain DNS which you don't want. So it's pretty kind of handy tool and handy feature which you can use to make sure that you are not accessing or trying to resolve a DNS which you should not. So please let me know how you like the video. If you have any question, please feel free to put a comment and I'll be happy to answer that. And please like the videos, share with your friend, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to find out, we'll be doing more videos on newly launched AWS services. And if you have any topic in mind, please do let me know. I'll try to cover up in my next video. Till then, thank you so much, guys.